Would I be the asshole for one-upping my parent by getting my sibling another birthday cake? I, 17 years old female, have an older sister, 21 years old female, who had a birthday recently. She's not big on celebrating it due to an event that occurred when she was a kid on that same day, and it's kind of been tainted for her ever since, I think. Last year was the first time I can remember her asking for anything for her birthday in years. And literally all she said she wanted was a small heart-shaped chocolate cake with lavender-colored frosting and purple flowers on it. Our dad got her an ice cream cake instead, and ended up forgetting to bring it into the house so it melted into a pile of mush. He was apologetic about it, and she said it was fine, but I could tell that she was disappointed, and I felt bad that she didn't get the one thing she asked for. She didn't ask again for anything this year, but I decided that I wanted her to have the cake she asked for last year but didn't get. I talked to our dad about getting her a cake again, specifically the one she'd wanted, and he agreed to order it, so I figured it was a done deal. Well, on the night before her birthday, my dad pulled out a plain white sheet cake, the discounted undecorated kind, he bought from the grocery store. Obviously, it wasn't my birthday, and she said that she was fine with the sheet cake, but I'm kind of irritated since my dad agreed with me when I said we should get her the cake she had wanted before. I mentioned it to him, but he said it was just a cake, and she was fine with the one he got her. I snooped through her social media, and there's this local bakery she follows that makes cakes similar to the one she was asking for. I called and got a quote for a cake, and they said they could have it ready within a few days. I don't want to one-up my dad by getting my sister this cake, and I know that she said she was happy with the cake she got, but I just want her to have the thing she asked for, and I feel like he dropped the ball with this. I also feel like I'm kind of overthinking this, but I don't want my dad to feel like I'm slighting him or something either. I just want to know if it would be a jerk move to get a cake for my sister. It's sweet that you want to make your sister's birthday special by getting her the cake she asked for. It shows a lot of thoughtfulness and care. However, it's important to consider your dad's feelings too, and make sure everyone is on the same page to avoid any misunderstandings or hurt feelings. Am I the antagonist for giving away my dad and my sister's tickets to my graduation ceremony and telling them to not bother showing up? I, 18 years old female, have my high school graduation ceremony this Wednesday. It was sent to my parents in an email that I will be giving a speech that day, as my grades made me valedictorian of my school's class of 2024, and I was excited to do so. My school made us reserve and buy tickets to the ceremony weeks in advance, and I picked mine up on the 26th. The problem started at dinner when I told my family I picked up the tickets for my graduation day and would keep them with me until the day of just to make sure they don't get lost. My dad told me that he and my sister had plans for an hour before the ceremony, but that my mom would be there the whole time, and that they'd try to be there for the after party. I was honestly shocked for a moment before starting to laugh, assuming they weren't serious. When I realized they actually weren't joking, I'll admit I was a bit mad. I'm usually a very shy and non-confrontational person, even around my family, but I started yelling at my dad and sister, asking if they were seriously ditching my graduation ceremony. I told them that the after-party was useless to attend, and that all the pictures of the graduates with their families would be taken at least 2 hours before the ceremony. They said it's fine, and we can take our own pictures the day after my graduation, but I got up and left dinner. Over the weekend, I saw a few people on my class group chat complain that they didn't get enough tickets, so I offered up the 2 tickets I had, and met up with a girl from my class to give them to her, and even though I told her not to, she actually paid me the original price for them. When the topic of graduation was brought up by my dad today during lunch, I told him that I gave the other 2 tickets away, and only my mom will be attending, so they shouldn't bother with the after-party. He got mad and asked why I would do that, to which I replied that I don't see the point in wasting money on tickets if they're not going to use them. My dad blew up on me, saying I'm acting like a spoiled brat, and it's not like I'll die if he and my sister are a bit late to my graduation. I spoke to a few people about it, my friends and my grandma. My friend said good riddance, and if they consider their plans more important, they can have fun. But my grandma said that while she understands my side, I shouldn't have given away the tickets just to spite my dad, because maybe he would have changed his mind and gone on time. So I'm looking for a non-biased opinion. Am I the a-hole? It's understandable to feel hurt in this situation, but giving away the tickets might have caused unnecessary tension. It's a special moment, and it's okay to want your loved ones there to share it with you. Am I the antagonist for treating my family better than treating my in-laws? My parents, female, 30, always put me above their wants and needs. They wanted to give me best opportunities. They invested in my education, took me on trips, etc. At a point, when my father got some money at retirement, he put a major chunk that away for my wedding instead of doing anything for them. Knowing how much my parents did for me, I always dreamt of doing things for them when I had the means for that. When I started dating my now husband, all this had come up in our conversations. I had told him my plan was to set aside a set amount from my salary to do things with them. He was always positive about it. I went on several trips with my parents before my marriage. We got married over a year ago, and last week I was planning another vacation with my parents coming June. My husband saw this and asked if we could take his parents somewhere as well. I said sure and revise budgets and approximate accordingly. I went to discuss with him about how much it will cost and how much I needed him to put down. He seemed taken aback and asked if I didn't already have enough money to take our parents. I did have money saved up, but that was set aside for things for my parents only. If I took from that to fund trip for his parents also, I would be reducing what I can do for my parents. I asked if I took care of this entire vacation, would he be open to funding another vacation for my parents, the one balance money was for. He said no, asking why my parents deserved an additional vacation as compared to his. It was frustrating to me, and I said all this money I saved was earmarked for my parents. If I take from it to spend on his, he ought to compensate and spend on mine. He said I was showing partiality to my parents and not treating his parents as my own. So I told him while I have no qualms about having his parents come on the trip, I wouldn't be funding them. He is mad at me about this. Additional note just for full disclosure. I make more money than him, around twice. We contribute to our household expenses accordingly as well. We share all household expenses and has personal accounts for rest of the money. And we do take vacations just us during the year. Am I the jerk? Am I the antagonist? It sounds like you had a clear plan in place to prioritize your parents, which is admirable considering all they've done for you. Your husband should understand and respect your intentions, but it's also important to find a compromise that works for both of you when it comes to family vacations. Am I the antagonist for telling my spouse that they embarrassed me? My 44-year-old female husband, 44-year-old male, and I went to a party. On the way there, I told him that one of the couples that would be there were co-workers of mine, and to keep his conversations parents guidance 13 around them. When he gets around another man that I knew was going to be there, they often loudly make inappropriate jokes and comments about sex, masturbating, drugs, etc. When everyone was being introduced, he immediately says to the couple, "Oh, you're the ones she said I have to behave around," and everyone laughed it off, and it was fine. He made a couple of comments that were toeing the line of inappropriate, but he never went overboard, and everyone seemed to have a good time. After the party, we decided to go grab dinner on the way home, and after ordering, I noticed my coworkers are at the same restaurant and must have come in after us. My husband wanted to go run over and say hi and join them, but I thought we should let them enjoy their meal and then stop by the table on the way out to say hi again. About 10 minutes later, the wife comes up to us and says that she just spotted us, and small world and all of that, and my husband says, "Yeah, we saw you too, but she said I shouldn't say anything to you." At which point, the coworker was like, "Did I get snubbed?" She laughed, but it felt kind of awkward, and she went back to the table. After she left, I calmly told him that it makes me uncomfortable when he tells people things I've said about them, so he can get a laugh, and it feels like a violation of trust. And he apologized, but the apology felt disingenuous, like he just wanted the conversation to be over. I reminded him that he's done similar things before, like I talked negatively about someone to him, and then at a party, someone brought up this person, and he was like, "Isn't that the person you can't stand?" in front of everyone. So then it spirals into a fight about how it makes him feel bad that I'm embarrassed by him just being himself, and that he hates me telling him what he can and can't talk about at gatherings with my friends. We finished our dinner mostly in silence, and then he barks at me the entire 10-minute drive home about how he knew I was going to try to start a fight, because I've been in a bad mood all week, and how I care too much about what other people think, and how much he hates me being embarrassed by him. I feel like this is some basic social norm stuff, but maybe am I the asshole? It's clear that you and your husband have different approaches to social interactions, but openly discussing boundaries and respecting each other's feelings is key in maintaining a healthy relationship. It's important for both of you to find a balance between being yourselves and being considerate of each other's comfort levels in social settings. Am I the antagonist for telling my parent to stop asking questions they don't want the answers to even if we are in therapy? My dad has me, 16-year-old male, going to therapy with him. Background: my parents broke up when I was just a baby. They were never married. Dad wasn't in my life as much when I was really young. He had to work out of town a lot, so I would see him every other weekend, and if he could take me for 2 weeks in the summer, he would. Sometimes I went years without seeing him for Christmas too. He only quit the job when he met his wife Lisa when I was 9. I admit it stung a lot. They got married fast, 8 months of dating. And I was 10 when Lisa was pregnant for the first time. My mom ended up having a brain aneurysm the day Lisa had their first kid. My dad was told, and he said he couldn't make it because Lisa was showing signs of early labor. He wanted me to be brought to them, but I refused to go, and I told him Mom was dying and I needed him. He told me he couldn't leave Lisa or miss seeing the baby be born, but he said he wanted me by his side, so come to him. I ended up staying. He didn't come. My mom died the same day his second child was born. Then he tried to take me to the hospital to see the baby like 12 hours after I lost my mom, and he talked nonstop about the baby. I told him I'd never forgive him, and I haven't. Lisa told me I should understand and be happy for them and their daughter that she got to have Dad watch her be born. I told her they weren't my problem. She said I had a bratty attitude. I didn't care. I stopped being close to Dad. I never developed a relationship with his daughter or his other son. I don't have a relationship with Lisa. Dad tried therapy a few times. He tried telling me to see the positive, to take joy in the fact I got to come home to a baby sibling. I told him I'd rather have my mom. I told him I wanted my dad with me in the worst moment of my life. but his wife and new kid were more important. Over the years he told me he wanted things to get better, but I didn't. A few months ago, Lisa said I should live with my grandparents or my aunt out of state if I feel this way. I said I agreed. Dad thought I was joking and it took him 2 months to realize I was serious, and he brought me to therapy. The questions started. Don't I love them? Him, Lisa, and the kids. Don't I want us to move past all this? No is the answer to both except for maybe loving Dad, but I'm also angry at him. Then he asked me if I really wanted to move out. Yes. Then it was imagine how Lisa and the kids feel. I don't care. The therapist lets him ask and lets me answer. They never really say much. He asked me if I cared about his other kids at all and I said no. He got so distressed and agitated, and I told him to stop asking questions. He doesn't want the answers to even if we are in therapy. He told me I'm not even trying, and I told him I had told him that already. He said therapy is about asking questions and working through things, and I'm not behaving the way I should. Am I the asshole? It sounds like you've been through a lot at a young age, and it's understandable that you're feeling hurt and neglected by your dad's actions. It's important for you to prioritize your own emotional well-being and express your feelings openly in therapy to work towards healing your relationship with your dad and finding peace within yourself. Am I the antagonist for being truthful with my friends when telling them I won't go on a weekend away because I don't want to talk about marriage babies for 3 days? I, 27 years old female, have a group of female friends, 8 of us. We have been friends for over a decade, since school. Now we don't live in the same place. We meet up a couple of times a year for a weekend in an Airbnb. This used to be a weekend of good food, drinks, hot tub, etc. I am content with my life at the moment. I am single, dating, and I don't know if I would like children. But in the event I did, I know I wouldn't want one soon. Around 5 of my friends are either married or in very long-term relationships. Of these 5, 2 either have a baby or are pregnant. I will be seeing all of my friends this year for various wedding and friend baby events. I have been invited on this year's girls' trip. I have said I can't come. I didn't originally provide a reason. When queried in person by my friend who is pregnant, I told her the truth. I am not going because it's a massive financial expense. For 3 days where we only talk about people's upcoming engagements, babies. I have a lot going on, but I feel a lot of my friends do not show an interest unless I talk about someone I'm dating. I also last time listened to one of my friends talk about her breastfeeding plans with vengeance for over an hour. She is not pregnant or trying. Truthfully, it's boring and it feels dismissive. It's also a really expensive way to feel bad about myself. I made clear when telling my friend this that I am thrilled for them all living the lives they want, but maybe it's not the weekend for me at the moment. Meaning it feels like the group has 2 distinct life stages. I'm in the minority and it focuses on one stage. My friend has since told me she's really hurt I am not excited for her or our other friends. I responded saying I evidently was, from other actions, but I just didn't think the trip was for me. I do have numerous other things on, and to fit this in both in the calendar and financially is a struggle. I just want to add for this friend specifically I have gone on 3 weekends away for her wedding, and I am flying to go her baby shower, all in the last 2 years. I have not asked her, nor she wanted to fly to see me for anything in the last 2 years. So my query is, am I the asshole for being truthful with the reason why I can't go? It sounds like you've been very supportive of your friends in the past, which is commendable. It's understandable that you feel overwhelmed with the financial aspect and the repetitive focus on engagements, weddings, babies during the trip. It's important to prioritize your own well-being and commitments, even if it means missing out on certain gatherings. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.